Giles, thank you so much. I'm sure that you'll have questions for Giles, and I think he's very happy to answer questions. We'll start with the first one.
Okay, well, first of all, I would like to thank you very much for discussing this. I think not being able to do this back in our country is great, and being able to do it here, I do have some questions. So can I just first of all ask you, just about the red shirt people being, pro-gay pride. There's on the news just today that the red shirts were attacking the gay pride parade in Chiang Mai, which had to be called off as a result. And the other thing is, yes, what you've said there, what you have put on the walls, yes, they are true, yes, but they're only partial truth. It's not the whole truth. If you see the red shirt demonstrations and you see the local kind of editorial posts, there were also very violent chaps as well. So I'd like to see more. I wish there was only more kind of equal kind of presentation of the facts.
We got a question.
Yeah, the Red Siam Declaration. With the current system, do you think that it can be done peacefully?
So, can it be done peacefully?
Question: Why you select red to represent your manifesto? Because academics in Thailand, they choose white to represent their manifesto as well. They don't want to take sides. Why you choose red? Because clearly it's color represent the Thaksin group. You didn't want to criticize Thaksin or something. And actually this is one side talking. You didn't talk anything about the red group. She's also very violent. I appreciate your idea about welfare state, but you shouldn't attach yourself to the specific color. Why don't you invent your own color, whether green or pink or whatever?
I'd like to ask anyone who asks another question to make clear whether they are in favour of freedom of speech and whether or not they're in favour of lèse majesté laws.
Yeah.
I'm against them, incidentally, answering my own question.
Okay.
I've got another question about the red shirts. I mean, do you really think they are supporters of democracy or really just supporters of Thaksin?
So did you hear that? Are the red shirts supporters of democracy or just supporters of Thaksin?
I think it's of great importance for the new civil society to rise. But what do you think are the way forward to depoliticize, to depolarize the yellow and red kind of politics, if you want to say?
There certainly have been incidents where red shirts have used violence, but this is nothing compared to the violence of the PAD. They don't have a systematic armed guard. They don't have people using guns openly on the streets. They haven't attacked people in the way that the yellow shirts have and been supported by the elites for doing it. And I think there have been very serious attempts by most of the leadership of the red shirts, and the leadership of the red shirts is quite dispersed, but they have made it absolutely clear that they don't want individual acts of violence like that. Now, there's been news that they prevented a gay pride march taking place, and I don't know the details of this, but I think that it shows that what we need to do is to educate people, that they need to, and one of the things that I have argued is that the red shirts need to become the voice of the oppressed in Thailand, not just the people who have had democracy stolen off them, but the voice of all the oppressed. And I would be arguing with them that they need to support gay people, lesbians, transgenders, bisexual people. They need to support Burmese migrants. Now let's make it clear, the yellow shirts are very, very reactionary in terms of gender rights. There were attempts early on in the PAD for women to join the leadership. They were shooed away. There were cases where people were accused of being sex workers. Their pictures were publicized, and all sorts of nasty crude statements were made from the platforms. The people on the platforms of the yellow shirts make sexist remarks, they make racist remarks all the time. So I think that what we have here is a red shirt movement which is by no means pure. Now, if you want to wait for a pure movement to arise, and here I'm reminded of what Lenin said, actually, when he was commenting on the Easter Rising in Ireland. People were saying, oh, well, these people are nationalists, they're not pure socialists. And Lenin said, well, if you want to wait for a pure uprising of socialists or whatever, you can wait forever. And I think that in the real world, people change their politics during struggle. And what we are seeing here is a movement that started out by being funded by Thaksin and some of his politicians, by being organized, but not organized very well. Now, we see people turning up to demonstrations with handmade posters. We see people saying they come from this and that community in this province. They're holding educational meetings. They're organizing their own radio stations. This is why I decided that it was high time that socialists like me and my comrades in turn left in Thailand, we decided to join with the red shirts. And we joined with the red shirts not because we want to build an alliance with Thaksin Shinawatra, but because we want to stand and build an alliance with the ordinary men and women who are red shirts who want to see democracy in Thailand. And we want to be part of that transformation. Now, will the Red Siam Manifesto come to pass? Well, the Red Siam Manifesto, if read by people in Western Europe, it sounds pretty ordinary. And that shows to what extent there's a lack of democracy in Thailand. All it's really saying is that we need genuine democracy. We don't want the army to intervene in politics. We want a republic. We want a welfare state. We want people to have human dignity. We want people to have the ability to grow under a system where people are equal. We don't want people groveling and crawling on the ground. If you don't know Thailand, you need to know that people have to crawl on the ground in front of the king and his relatives. Now, crawling on the ground is to show that you're subhuman, because animals crawl along the ground. That's the kind of attitude that you have in Thai society, and we need to get rid of that kind of attitude. Now, will this be peaceful or will it be violent? It's difficult to say. There is already a lot of violence in Thailand. I'm not advocating armed struggle. I'm advocating a mass uprising. But it takes a long time to organize this. I'm talking about building a red shirt party. I'm talking about building civil society. And I think that the polarization that's taking place in Thailand is actually a very good thing, because with polarization you get choice, and with polarization you get the red shirt movement, which is posing an alternative to the rotten system we have in Thailand. And so that's why I would choose to side with the Reds.